Rome Total War, absolutely shit. I really enjoy those games.
What
But
did you just say?
I am really shit.
Pull the recording, Rob.
Hold the fuck. You didn't.
Class podcasting there, right there.
Oh, remember the PS Vita?
Sony's had its bad times, and we're just gonna let them forget that.
Keep it clean. Fuck.
This is a family-friendly podcast.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Video Game Chat podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jordan. We have Rob.
Hello.
Gary.
What up?
And Brendan.
Hi.
We are a group of gamers from the UK, and we love to talk about gaming news and upcoming games and old games and even a waste of your time and money games. We hope you enjoy our podcast, and if you'd like to follow us or ask us any questions or give us themes and topics for discussion, please follow and tweet us at VGC_podcast. So, hi guys, how's it going?
Not too bad.
Doing all right, yeah.
Whirling abyss.
Good. So, just to get us all started, we've had a few times at trying to do this intro, so we're all a little bit giggly from laughing. Cool.
So what are we doing today, Jordan?
Well, so today we're going to just have a little introduction about ourselves. So, what we like to do, what sort of styles of games we play. I'm going to go from Rob. Rob, talk us a bit about yourself.
All right. Well, hello. I do YouTube in my spare time with Gary quite a lot of the time. I've taken a bit of a year off from that, really. It's just I was thoroughly bummed out by a whole bunch of choices YouTube made at the start of the year, but gonna get back into that, I think, next year. Just really need to fucking find the effort.
Oh, you have the effort, man. It's motivation.
That's the word I was looking for.
But you definitely have the effort. You put in way more effort than most people.
You too, my man.
Yeah.
I've seen for somebody that's like a fairly new channel. Like, thoroughly
Awesome
impressed.
vibes.
Yeah, very wholesome. I mean, you got to pick yourselves up now and then, haven't you?
Yeah, you do.
So what sort of games and that do you normally play on your YouTube channel there, Rob?
Well, I think, like, what seems to do the best for me, really, is, like, DayZ stuff. I've done, like, a lot of that just because, like, the situations you run into, you can sort of create a bit of a narrative around it, and they tend to do quite well. Either that, or genuinely just little bullshit bug videos that just blow up and do far better than anything I've put the effort into. Oh my god, the system's fucked.
Brilliant. And Gary, you want to go ahead and talk about your sort of styles of games and plug your YouTube channel as well?
Yeah, of course. So I'm also a YouTuber, not a successful YouTuber, but I do it more as a hobby than anything else. My kind of games that I play are ranging between kind of it's mainly silly games that I tend to play, but I do enjoy the hardcore ones as well. Like Rob and I, for example, we play a lot of a game called Hunt Showdown, which is a bit hardcore, which is amazing. But the stuff that does well on my channel tends to be very short, very silly videos of all of us fucking up, really, which I quite enjoy editing. It's really fun. Get no money from it, but, you know, it's fun.
Oh, yeah, I think I've still got 60-something P sat in my AdWords account thing from...
Oh, mate, loaded.
Yeah. But I can't actually take it out now until I hit like 10,000 subs or something. So it's locked there. Hopefully it generates interest. That'd be nice.
You'll get there eventually.
Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Probably won't.
No.
I mean, get interest. You will get there. But
yeah. Good save, Gary. Good save. Thank you for not just saving your own ass, but, you know, my feelings.
I got to pick you up to break you down immediately.
And Brendan, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm not a YouTuber. I don't do anything on YouTube or Twitch or anything, but I have played games for pretty much most of my life. I play a wee bit of everything. Western RPG, stealth games, strategy games. Just play a wee bit of whatever looks interesting. And I've got nothing else to add there. I just play video games. That's why I'm here. Also, there was supposed to be free food.
About that. It's not in the budget. Sorry, mate.
So that's a little bit about myself. I should probably do that as well. I've played games for a number of years. I started off on the old Xbox and eventually moved over to the PC, Master Race, and all that jazz. I stream very infrequently on Twitch when I get a chance and when my internet connection allows me.
Good old potato internet.
Yeah, I feel like we've all sort of bonded and engaged with each other through DayZ and various survival games. Other styles of games are sort of mainly sort of first-person shooters, heavily into the battle royale scene as that's popped up recently. What other stuff? Minecraft. Fucking love the shit out of Minecraft.
Oh yeah, Minecraft.
Could do that for days. It's where me and Brendan mainly sort of connected and powered over, didn't we, Brendan?
Yeah. I've actually lost count of the amount of time that we have actually spent playing on Minecraft.
We have spent many lifetimes playing Minecraft. Probably more days in actual Minecraft than in than like physical days there are in the world.
Okay, I'm getting depressed. Let's move on.
Right, so just other sort of things. So we're sort of two sets of two guys that have sort of collided with each other.
Oh,
Well, so the not in that way. Come on, guys.
Yep.
But
This is a family-friendly podcast.
me and Brendan are online friends. We've never met in real life, Brendan, but we need to.
Oh yeah.
But
And me and
it's on
Gary
the
go all
cards.
the way back to secondary school,
We've-
as well,
we've,
where we bonded over a dick joke, which cemented our friendship as the way it's going to go forward.
Oh,
And we've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
Classic
Brilliant.
comedy.
Yeah, and our tastes haven't changed.
How many years has it been, Rob? We've been like friends for what, like
It's a good 14 years at this point, literally half our lives.
whereas me and Brendan, we met online through Facebook.
Yeah,
Through the-
we would have, strangely enough, we met through a discussion group off the back of Metal Hammer
Yes.
magazine, a music discussion group.
Oh, it's come full circle. We met on a Metal Hammer podcast fan group.
Oh my god, that's right,
And
Gillen
now
Bees.
we're in a podcast together.
it was destined.
Oh, spooky.
So, Rob,
Really
you've
does.
met Brendan in real life.
Yes, I have, but we got to knowing each other through Twitter shitposting.
Yes, okay, that's true. And completely unrelated to video games on the most part.
Yeah, we just kept sort of bumping into each other and then just sort of clicked. And now all we do is meet up and eat tons of food and regret it.
He's my wife.
Have you met Jordy or Rob?
No, I haven't. I've
No.
not known Jordy all that long, in all honesty. I'm confused as to why I'm doing this podcast with him. I don't know him. He could be anybody.
Who are you? So, the main topic for today's podcast is the best video games of the decade from 2010 to where we are now at the end of 2019. There aren't many games left to be released in the next
Ever.
fucking
We're nearly out. We're nearly done.
They are nearly all finished.
2 weeks.
The mines are running dry.
Cool. We are getting to the top 20 then of the VG247.com Best Video Games of the Decade 2010 to 2020 ranked
Start from
article.
20?
Yes. So, you know, if you want to count... If you want to count...
Captain,
that would make sense.
That's fantastic, mate. Well done.
Yeah.
Class podcasting there, right there.
Yeah, you know what? This is the video games chat. It's not the maths chat. All right?
Yeah, this is
We'll
not
have
fair.
no
It's
judgment
it's
here.
not the obvious point made, obviously, podcast, although it could very well be.
Where were those wholesome vibes when this started? You know, remember those back in the good old days, in the early minutes of the podcast when everything was wholesome and friendly and
The
nice?
early minutes of the podcast, which actually took us like nearly the hour of recording time that we've had.
Yeah, but they're not going to know about that.
Well, we've just spilt the
But
fucking
Brendan,
beans,
for them,
so-
it's about 20 minutes. For us,
It's all
about
propaganda.
50.
Fake news.
Okay, so at number 20, we have Portal 2. So have we all played Portal 2?
Yeah, worthy contender,
Absolutely
really. Isn't it?
loved it.
Portal 2, I'd say that is probably one of the best puzzle games I've played this year.
Oh, 100%.
year.
Did you say this year?
This year? Sorry, this decade.
I mean, you could have played it this year, and I'm
no
not
shame
going to
in you
judge.
only playing it this year. Although we did sound very
Yeah.
judgy when we actually noticed you say that.
I left it a bit late there, bud.
Yes. As the game did come out in
10 years.
Hey guys, you checked out this little puzzler called Tetris?
Yeah, I mean, like it's got everything covered, really, doesn't it? It's got like obviously Portal was incredibly fucking successful. Blew out of nowhere, really, didn't it? Like, and then Portal 2, the follow-up, obviously built on that a lot, and also had a decent co-op mode, which, took the basic Portal format and just went, all right, how's about each one of you just shoots one portal?
And like the storyline, certainly from my own perspective as a massive Half-Life fan, I really like the way it built on all of that. Even though it was its own sort of puzzle game, it wrapped itself into that storyline to have a plot to it, and you got to see GLaDOS as a potato, which is always a good thing, Danny Irishman.
Only
always nice to have representation in video games.
Power to the people.
I do second that as a massive Half-Life fan. I like the lore that they expanded upon and the secret nuggets of information that you saw regarding Black Mesa. That was just amazing. And it's kind of... I'm guessing that I'm going to speak for all four of us here and for most of the community, but Half-Life 3 is very much like hugely anticipated, probably because of all these things as well as obviously Half-Life 1 and 2 were so good, but these little nuggets of information helped.
Yeah, Portal 2 coupled with the end of Episode 2, Half-Life, that's what it was pushing towards that whole we've got to find the Borealis thing, because that just like disappeared and shit, didn't it, in Portal 4?
Yeah.
And, they finally tracked it down, and the Combine have like a massive interest in it, and it was like, okay, let's go find it, and then just fucking nothing.
Yeah.
But other than that, really good puzzler game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in its own right.
The sense of humour and things, just constantly just brilliant throughout.
And the fact that you can send your friend flying through the air infinitely and then throw them into a vat of water that kills them.
Yeah.
Always enjoy that in any video game, really.
So, number 19, Ultra Street Fighter 4, which came out in 2015.
Gonna be clear, I've never played it.
Yeah, I have zero fucking interest in Street Fighter, so for me...
The last Street Fighter I played was on the SNES.
Wow, that's quite far, but I used to play the Street Fighter on the PlayStation 2, I believe, but I never really got. I've never played the storyline. I used to just button mash. I used to never know the combos. I'm not going to lie. There's probably going to be one of my mates listening to this podcast. His name's Dan. Shout out to Dan. Dan, I love you. Plays Tekken and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I have no love for those games. I have no love for them. But I know there's a huge community of the arcade fighters that are like super hardcore about their combos and like the way you like can break, and like it's all like down to like the milliseconds of how long it takes to block and like jab and stuff like that. And it's really, really, it's too technical for me. It's something that I could never ever get competitive in because I just don't understand it.
The only thing that I can sort of relate that to is Mortal Kombat 11, which both me and Gary absolutely smashed. And but fuck me, trying to play online, it is just people that have learnt timings of everything down to exactly, as you said, the fucking millisecond. And they're impossible to beat.
It's all just framing, isn't it? Like they can tell the difference between every frame.
Yeah. Even the tutorials, there's one later on where you have literally, I think it's like 2 or 3 frames for one particular move that you're supposed to learn in this tutorial, and I was trying to beat that one tutorial stage for about an hour and a half until I just gave up and played something else entirely because I was that frustrated. Like, they're fun games, but oh my god.
I would say I'm more of a casual player of these types of games. Like, you bring a couple of mates over, you are all pretty much on a level playing field. One may have played a couple more games than others, but when you've got kind of average mates, it's kind of fun. I never played Mortal Kombat 11 online. I owned it. I've sunk about 70 hours into it, but I never played it online because I know that I cannot beat anyone online.
And it would make you incredibly fucking salty.
Yeah, for sure. I just wouldn't find it fun.
Yeah, I managed to play a few rounds. I beat a couple of people in like the entire time I played online, but the rest of it was just sweaty tryhards and just wow. It's not fun to play online. Like, there was no like ranking system or anything in place right at the start, and you were thrown up against people who have clearly done nothing over the past few years than play every Mortal Kombat game like religiously, and it's just not enjoyable. Like, there's no fun in that. There needs to be like an entirely separate like casual fucking idiots and old people playlist where you can play against people that don't know everything.
you feel like there should definitely be some sort of MMR system in place where,
absolutely,
if you're playing online, you get put up against someone who's just as much of a potato as you are at
absolutely.
playing
But the only problem with
Street
the
Fighter.
MMR system is you got to play up against people that are way better than you for a good few hours before you get to that point. So at that point, you've already got frustrated with it and decided never to play online again.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good review of my experience of any fighter game as well.
Shout out to all the Ultra Street Fighter 4 fans who just got a good run through of the feelings of Mortal Kombat.
And we'll never
If you're still here, thank you.
Yes.
Don't know why you're still here.
Gary, you're trying to get people to live.
So the next one up, moving along, we'll go up to number 18. Number 18, I know, is a favourite of Brendan, so pretty sure
yes,
Hotline Miami.
Hotline Miami. Absolutely loved it. Have you guys played it?
Oh yeah,
I have it on my list.
Seriously, the first one and the second one are also both fantastic, and just obviously the difficulty of it, the sort of, you are able to approach in different ways. Obviously, it's all going to pan out slightly differently each time, depending on exactly what sort of time you go in.
The soundtrack is incredible. The soundtrack is an understated element of it. It's the whole thing of this like high octane, visceral experience of top-down violence, and it's very gory. It's very fast-paced, and you've just got this pumping soundtrack in the background. And I don't know, it just works perfectly. The whole thing drives the gameplay.
So
I think
sorry,
go on. I'll go then. Fine. It's I think it was when you were playing through this one. It might have been the second one that you played when you played through that one, Brendan. You told me that the soundtrack was so good that even if I didn't play the game, I still needed to listen to the soundtrack. And I remember it used to be my getting to work playlist when I used to cycle to work. When I used to work at the Apple Store back in the day.
Oh, well, like. The soundtrack thing, to really hammer that home, and obviously like there's a lot about the game itself and the storyline and the sort of thriller aspects of it that are brilliant, but focusing on the soundtrack, like out of all the games I've played, Hotline Miami was the only one where I stopped and went, I'm pausing this for a second and I'm gonna see if I can buy the soundtrack for this, and thankfully I could, so I did.
Yeah, it just had that really gorgeous synth-wavy, vapor-wavy sort of soundtrack that sort of was just perfectly slotted into the zeitgeist that just sort of picked off around that same time.
Exactly that. And like to focus on the gameplay itself, like it's that top-down view is not common anymore. The only thing I could associate it with when I saw it pop up was like the original Grand Theft Auto game and stuff like that. And it's sort of, I saw people suggest it as a sort of arcadey shooter, and I had some doubts about it because I saw it was getting a bit of traction online and was wondering whether it was a sort of gimmicky thing. But then when I did play it, it was just wonderful. And the storyline throughout the game is quite a good sort of psychological thriller that you don't really see coming. And they build on that for the second one as well. Like the second one I don't think is on this list, but it's one of those things, if you play the first one, you have to play the second.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It even sort of started spawning off like a few clones and everything. There was one that was announced in like 2014 called like the Hong Kong Massacre or something, which was essentially Hotline Miami, but very heavily inspired by John Woo. And that has only just come out this year, and it's completely passed me by. Like, I didn't know that it was out. I've literally just Googled it, like going, is that even out yet? And yeah, it was released this year. It sort of average reviews of about a 7. But I was really looking forward to that at the time when Hotline Miami 1 came out and they announced that. And I was like, sweet, can't wait for that.
It's very pick up and play.
Maybe
it's definitely not one of those games that like where it is that top down style. It's not like it's going to age.
Yeah, it's styled so well.
It's styled, yeah.
The gunplay is done so well. I should note actually, it's not just gunplay. Like when I said there's viscera involved in this, you can go into a room full of like 15 guys and pick up a pool cue and wing it across the room to take down the guy who has a knife in his hand. And from there, just build up a chain of various weapons to take down a huge amount of people. And it's sort of the music's blasting away as you're doing all this. And then when the level's done, every single level, they do the same thing. They make you go back to the start and you have to traipse your way through this carpet of dismembered bodies.
Just while there's this sort of pleasant, soft vaporwave playing in the background.
That's right, yeah. There's this soft sort of like it plays, it's a theme throughout the game where it is just this It's almost the buzzing in your head as you go.
Also, I was trying to be as cool as Ryan Gosling.
Oh yeah. Heavily influenced by Drive.
Real human being.
Yeah. So next on the list, moving up to number 17, we've got Stardew Valley. It's another one that I know that Brendan likes.
That is still one that I'm actually yet to play. I know they've added a co-op mode, so I might actually.
I haven't even done that yet.
Yeah,
I know they've got it on the Switch, and I'm definitely tempted to get it on the Switch.
I think
Anyone
Rob,
else?
we should definitely try a co-op of that.
Yeah.
What did you think of it, Brendan?
It's it's hard to describe. Like, it's that sort of Harvest Moon answer that PC gaming needed. It's like, it's understated in a lot of ways. If you look at the screenshots and stuff like that, and you're used to the big AAA RPGs, you might go buy it. You may just think, that's a bit aged. That's a bit simple looking to me. But it is a well-rounded farming simulator, and it's extremely comfy to play. It's got RPG elements. You've got things where you can build relationships with characters in the game, eventually getting married at one stage, decorate your house, completely reshape your farm. If I remember correctly, it's done by a guy who, I think it was developed on the basic purpose of they wanted Harvest Moon on PC, and the dude built it himself. Like, one guy built this game.
Fair play.
And he built it well. He built it really well. There's dungeon crawling in it as well. It's just... I sunk a good amount of time into it. I'd launch up Steam if it wouldn't completely bugger my connection as it tries to download a load of updates. But I've got a good amount of hours sunk into it, and it has been a very satisfying sort of RPG experience. And it's surprising how much pleasure you can get from just making jam for, 6 days of your life.
On number 16, which came out in 2016.
Again, not another one that I haven't actually played, although the Dark Souls formula has completely taken off, as we've noticed. We've got Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and things like that are sort of aping the formula and building on it in their own way, and quite recently Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I played and completely fucking smashed in a very short amount of time, and it was really fucking good. After the last few years of EA holding the Star Wars license, it was a welcome breath of fresh air from, Battlefront 2, which launched as a complete fucking shit show, and them only doing 2 games with the license over a decade. And then, okay, here's Star Wars Fallen Order. And it's amazing. It's really fucking good. It's like a good Star Wars story on the first hand. The gameplay's great. I had that set on hard and I was dying even right towards the end. It wasn't one that you sort of get into the complete flow of it and you can fucking smash it. It's still a challenge throughout the game, which is quite welcome. A lot of games that I play at the moment, once you sort of get into the rhythm or get upgraded in certain ways, you are unstoppable, which in some games is quite a positive thing. You do feel like your character's developed, you are powerful and you are unstoppable, but at the same time, that challenge sort of tapers off.
Yeah, and Dark Souls very much the gameplay that it establishes champions that, the idea. I remember being introduced to it literally through 4chan, because it was one of those games where they kept saying, get good. And the whole idea was that, if you were a true gamer, a hardcore gamer, you're going to play Dark Souls or Demon Souls. And when I'd played it, it is that sort of thing of, it's quite daunting at first, because I was quite used to other RPGs where you just build up your gear to the point where you can go around trouncing things. And Dark Souls is just, you can work your way through levels. There's moments where just standard mobs could kill you just by you rolling the wrong way. And then the bosses just get worse and worse and worse. So it's a traumatizing experience. I think for Dark Souls 3 was definitely it just improved on everything that had been done. I quite liked the vibe of Dark Souls 2 over 3, and I feel 3 was where I sort of went, that's all I want from this. That was very much, once I had finished it, that was my complete experience of the Dark Souls gameplay that I wanted.
Yeah, I personally, I don't find Dark Souls that appealing.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time in a day, or even in my life, to sit down and just literally run away.
Just roll.
I don't have time to play a boss fight for an hour plus. Fuck that. It's not, to me, it's not enjoyable.
Just not accessible, essentially.
I don't mind it not being accessible. I like games with a really steep learning curve, but I don't like games where it, like, for me, Dark Souls is ridiculously difficult for no other reason than to be difficult. Same as Sekiro. They're doing it for the hardcore gamers, which, there is a market. I'm not that market, but I if I wanted to, if I had enough time in the world and I actually like the look of Dark Souls, I would sit down, play it intensely, and probably get quite good at it. But I like playing loads of different types of games. I don't want to just play one game over and over and over again until I get good. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah, you don't want a game that feels like a chore, and I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Gary. It's one of those ones where I love the art style. I don't mind. I don't even enjoy. I even enjoy watching people playing Dark Souls. I don't know if this is just a sad part of me that enjoys watching other people fail over and over again. Shout out to my friend Moat, who streams all these Star Wars into games, and I absolutely love trolling him when he streams on Twitch. It's great. But yeah, it's just too much of a learning curve for me to actually even want to bother buying the game to play it. But then the whole Star Wars game is going to change it for me, because I know that I really want to play that game, and because it's Star Wars, and anything with Star Wars branded over it, I'm going to fap that until I can't no more.
Exactly. That's fair. If they get a good balance on it, that may be the benefit from it. Like Dark Souls, I'd say, is somewhat pioneering. No, I may be wrong here. There may be a load of JRPGs that I'm just being unaware of. But in terms of my exposure to it, it's kind of unique in just how much of an absolute bastard of a game it is. And it's that sort of thing that could influence others, where instead of just standard RPGs that you can sort of scale up through, you can hit that balance, that sort of thing where every single boss is quite a difficult fight, but doesn't take you 5 hours to master it.
I think it would be safe to say it's somewhat unique in this decade.
Yeah.
It harks back to the Spectrum games. I grew up on playing the Spectrum, and there were games on there which are fucking insane. You do not have a guide walking you through the game. You have to figure it out by yourself. And I like that. I like games where you have to use your logic, and you have to go, okay, well, I missed this 20 hours ago. Now I'm fucked. But there is a time and a place for that. I don't want to play that every time. And there's a reason why so many games don't do that, because it's not fun. Yeah. But back in the day, these games were built for nerds, like us, people, or not, maybe not all of us, but I would call myself a nerd, full on. If I want to get something done in a video game and I really want to carry on smashing playing it, I'll sit there and I'll play it, but I don't at the moment have too much time to do that. When I was younger, anything goes.
Yeah, well, I totally agree. Yeah, it's one of those things. The whole Dark Souls franchise, as well as a franchise, I feel at number 16 is definitely a good place for that sort of style of game as well.
Yeah.
Moving up to number 15, we have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which was released in 2017. What a fantastic game.
I'm genuinely surprised it's 15. I was just saying I'm surprised that that's at 15.
Yeah, I'd probably have it in the top 10 at least. I'd push it up there as one of the best sort of RPG games I've played in a long time. Probably Skyrim is probably next to sort of how good it is. But it is its own game. It's not like a Skyrim clone with a Zelda splashed over it.
Yeah.
It is a completely different game.
Few games I can think of that's actually making me want to get a Switch.
Same.
Yeah, it's what made me get a Switch in the first place.
Yeah. The other thing that sort of sold me on I need to get one, just I don't know when, was the Metroid Prime announcement, which they literally just showed the title, Metroid Prime 4, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to get a fucking Switch.
There've been 3 games for me that every time it's come out, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to Switch. First was Zelda Breath of the Wild. Second was Mario Odyssey. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then the third one, oh, fuck. I can't remember what the third one was.
Must have been good.
Pokemon?
Oh, shit. Oh, Pokemon. Pokemon. Sword and Shield. And I still haven't got one. I feel like the more I put it off, the less games I'm going to play.
Yeah.
No, it's just that when you do get one, you'll be stuck on what one to play.
Yeah,
It's definitely
Switch
Breath
2
of the
comes
Wild
out.
is a must play on the Switch, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I love RPGs,
Definitely.
so totally up for that.
It's such it's one of those things, and I've criticized this before about Nintendo is a big fan of their old rehash. They like to keep their classic series going over and over and over and over and over again, and it's what their entire business seems to be built on. But like, as someone who grew up with the NES and SNES and remembers playing the original Zelda and stuff like that, something I really appreciate with these sorts of franchises is getting to see that evolution. And it's that thing of, you had an in-house console for the original Legend of Zelda, and now you've moved to a handheld console that has quite a huge role-playing game on it. Like, the map in it is gigantic. The gameplay has a good depth to it. The graphic style is bloody fantastic. Like, it is a tour de force just for handheld gaming in terms of role-playing games.
Yeah,
The Switch has really made it like... Sorry. I was saying the Switch has really made like a shit ton of headway in like gaming in general. Like the fact that you can now play Skyrim on the Switch, you can play Dark Souls on the Switch. It's just amazing how we've gone from having big fucking £1,000 PC rigs to now having a very small Game Boy-esque Switch controller that you can hold in your hand and take around the world with you, with all these like AAA titles on them now, and it is like.
I remember the PS Vita.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
Remember the Wii U?
Sony's had its bad times, and we're just gonna let them forget that.
I'm not gonna lie.
You can touch the back of it.
Fun fact: during my day job, I work quite well with our senior technician where I work, and one of the guys in our warehouse brought in a PS Vita into my service technician and said, "Do you reckon you could fix the battery on this for me?" And he went, "How old is it?" He went, "I don't know. I've had it since I was in primary school."
God.
Oh, just PS Vita, man.
Yeah, like when it comes to the handheld, Nintendo is king. Like, Nintendo just has that shit locked down, and Breath of the Wild is one of those ones where they show what they can do.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else to add on that, Rob? Did you want to?
Nah, not really. I think we covered that.
Oh, good. Cool. Well, the next one is at number 14, which is GTA 5.
Yes.
One of the best story-driven games in
one of the best
decade.
online experiences I've ever really had, to be honest. I've pumped so much fucking time into GTA Online. Like, making my own missions and things and races and stuff. Like, there was one that did incredibly well that I'd made that was just a last team standing that was motorbike jousting. Yeah, you both started at opposite ends of the Sandy Shore runway. It was all lined off so you couldn't actually get out of it. And you just had to charge at each other and try and shoot each other with sawn-off shotguns. Yeah, and it could be over incredibly fucking quickly. Or it could end up taking, like, the full amount of time. And, like, the payout was really good, so people kept playing it. And I was like, yeah. But there was, all those options for just creating your own missions and death matches and things just added so much to that, which is sort of one of the things I do miss with Red Dead 2. But that's not...
It's still early days
later.
Still is early days, you are right. But
like GTA 5, I can definitely put a lot of my love for it into the single player. Like, I've played Rockstar games since the original GTA 1 I played, so even focusing on the GTA franchise, I played that on the PC, and I have followed it game through game, and GTA 5 has just been, it's just every time they get better at what they're doing. Rockstar are just bloody incredible. And the storyline system of 3 characters was inspired. Didn't see that coming whatsoever, and it worked really well. I was invested in them. The storyline was well written. All of it was bloody brilliant. The driving is fantastic. The shooting is fantastic. The game feels great. The map is gigantic. God.
Yes.
Rockstar is just, love them.
Did you play GTA London?
Oh, yes, of course. And, GTA 2 with the bloody laser limos.
Oh, yeah. And so going back to like the old top-down GTAs, I remember they released one on the DS, and I can't remember what it was called. Was it GTA Chinatown?
Oh, yes, the Chinatown Wars setup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I played that so much. That was such a good game because it reminded me of playing GTA 1 in London, and I loved it.
Yeah, because you get... I think they also introduced that for... I may be wrong on this, actually. You know the way they did Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories?
Yeah.
And they were on the PSP originally when they came out, and that was one of the first multiplayer experiences for GTA. That also tried to bring back that top-down option where you could play it like that. And it was sort of like, at least they remember their roots in that way, and it was good to see them sort of like evolving on from, obviously you had GTA San Andreas, which I would just count as like the pinnacle of the golden era of PlayStation 2 gaming. And then they went into GTA 5, or GTA 4, wasn't so well received because they tried to do the more gritty approach, even though Liberty City was such a well-rounded city. Big American titties! But yeah, they tried to do gritty with that sort of ridiculous character, and like I do feel like GTA 4 wasn't as well received, even though it was a huge step forward. And I feel like GTA 5 embodies all the best aspects of the balance between those two. It uses that Euphoria engine for that like incredible physics system that they have. You know, when GTA 4 first came out, I spent a ridiculous amount of time just driving down footpaths, running people over to see which way they would go flying, and to see if it applies in GTA 5.
Grabbing onto the door handles and things to try and get you, and you just...
Yeah, it's mind-blowing, and it's still mind-blowing. Like GTA 5, for that scale, you could do things like fly planes down into the middle of Los Santos, and when it crashed, the wing would come off and take someone off their feet, and like... I don't care how long I've been playing games. Stuff like that still makes me stop and go, whoa.
I was quite disappointed they toned back like the actual physics from GTA 4 to GTA 5. Like the Euphoria where you could like shoot people in the hands and they'd like drop a gun or shoot them in the leg and they'd stumble and drop to the floor and couldn't walk. And then you go to GTA 5 and there's just none of that. It's really disappointing.
I think that's very much just a scale thing with how big the map is compared to the Liberty City map that they did for 4. I think they did scale back on some elements of it. Like, it feels a bit more arcadey than GTA 4, but it works quite well, especially with the online thing. Like, when it comes to the online, that arcadey feel sort of just balances quite nicely with the ridiculous scenarios of someone on a jet motorbike flying past.
I actually didn't find GTA 4 that fun.
No, me neither. Like, trying to go back and play it again to get myself hyped up for GTA 5, I couldn't make it past the opening hour.
Well, no, that's just the story. I mean, the story of 5 was unique in that you have 3 different storylines. I don't know if that's ever been done prior to that game in such a way where you can pull out your character and then move to another. Yeah, in real time, more or less. Obviously, there's loading screens, but are there loading screens? Oh, yeah, but if anyone listening knows any other games that do exactly that prior to GTA 5, please let us know. I would like to see.
XCOM 2. I've not played it. XCOM, not really had any interest in it.
I absolutely adore XCOM 2. That is on my fucking top 5. Like, for the year, like, for the decade even. Like, it's just such a fucking good formula. It's enjoyable. the changes they made.
I don't know if enjoyable is the right word.
Well, yeah, it is really fucking enjoyable. It is for me anyway. I enjoy like tactical RTSs more than I enjoy like big scale RTSs. Think like Rome Total War, absolutely shit. I really enjoy those games.
What
But
did you just say?
I am really shit at
Pull the
Rome
recording, Rob.
Hold the fuck. You didn't. I am shit at Rome Total War.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because I can focus on like a battle or like a front in a whole war that I'm taking part of, but as soon as it comes to, oh yeah, shit, there's like these other like 4 fucking factions that are trying to kill me at this exact point in time, and I just lose track. Whereas like a small scale tactical battlefield scenario like is really enjoyable, working out like flanking routes and stuff and trying to sneak around. Like the stealth phase at the start of the mission before everything kicks off was quite unique as well. I quite enjoyed that. They didn't know you were there all the time, so you could sort of prepare and then launch an ambush. Like, it's an insanely fun game, and like you would sort of get like attached to your guys as well. And I remember like I did my like YouTube playthrough series thing where I had a whole bunch of people send in details for like themselves, and I would make them the characters in my campaign. And like it had a horrible mission that just backfired horribly, and like just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Yeah, I lost like 4 guys in one match, and it was heartbreaking. Spoilers. Yeah,
I can imagine. That's the sort of the game where you genuinely have these characters and these players in your team that you've gone through like a whole campaign with, and then like they die. You can go, like you really miss that. But then when you're playing Total War, you're like, are you really going to remember that set of archers that have you been with?
Like 150 archers that you've paid for in that one unit.
Yeah.
Like, no.
You know what? I think this is where we split on this, because I have played the Total War games religiously, and like on Rome Total War there is a feature, and it gets echoed in the later games as well, where you can name your units. And it's always when you start first as the Romans with your Legio first Italica. That's always my prime one. That's the one that does the big battles. That's the one that goes and pushes Carthage into the goddamn sea. And when there's those moments when you get ambushed and some fucker kills that legion, oh my god, it hurts.
So that's I don't know if it's necessarily enjoyable, XCOM, because I've only ever seen videos
Rob
of people
screaming.
playing it. I've seen your playthrough as well, Rob.
Yeah.
There's salt. It's just pure salt. It's
Would
like
you just be livid the entire time? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, you were.
Well, yeah, like, I really enjoyed it, but fuck me, yeah, when you lose people that you've upgraded, that you've taken for ages, it's not like, a story game in that sense where, these characters are going to die at a certain point in time, but, like, just, I'm super prepared for this. I was not prepared for this. Oh, fuck. Like,
I guess that's like Faster Than Light, isn't it? Because I find that quite fun. But
and again, you get attached to your crew, don't you? You're like, and then just suddenly, like, your pilot's killed by a fucking border or something, and you're like,
Or you miss
he was 3 days from retirement.
You've left the airlock open and everyone suffocates, and you're like, why are they dying? And
I have never actually played an XCOM game. And correct me if I'm wrong, is it turn-based? Like, it works on that sort of system of there's hexagons that you move characters over and that sort of setup?
Yeah, pretty much. It's squares rather than hexagons, but the same point really stands. Like, you get, essentially you get two, you can either move once and shoot, or sprint and do a double move to reposition sort of thing. But once you've done your turns, then it's all the enemies' turns, and any more enemies that sort of wander into that, also that join the conflict at that point as well, then get a turn as well. And you're like, ugh. So, if you're able to sort of plan things out a little bit, but you do have to sort of think ahead if you do want to push forward during combat, because you might accidentally, like, plop into another pod of enemies and be like, oh.
Cool. So moving on from that one, up to number 12, we've got Destiny 2.
Ever played any of the Destiny games?
Yeah.
Destiny, I'm not a big fan. Yeah. I feel like Destiny 2 is a PlayStation man's version of Borderlands.
So I have a PS4. I bought Destiny 1 when it came out. I thought it was fucking amazing. and then it became very, very quickly a grind fest, and it was not fun. The premise of it was cool, but that was about it. Once you've gone past the kind of planet exploration, is basically Halo, and not a good representation. It's not like, obviously it's by Bungie, but it's not like Halo. That Halo you can keep going back to. Halo 3 is a phenomenal game, and Destiny had the kind of charm of it, but it had none of the replayability. Regardless of what people are going to say with, they had all the raids and all the dungeons or whatever, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's just daily. That's daily chores. It's not.
It's
fun.
just grindy.
It's grinding for the sake. The one thing that I am so angry about with Destiny was I got what was a legendary weapon, and took me ages to work up to it. They released their first patch, like their first DLC. That weapon was redundant. There were non-legendary weapons which were better than my legendary weapon, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Classic MMO problem.
Bullshit.
Yeah. The same thing's happened with Destiny 2. Destiny 2 came out, and now it's free to play. Is it? Yeah, Destiny 2 is free to play now.
If it is free to play, I may check it out just to see what it is like, because it has not interested me enough that I'd want to spend money on it. Sorry, Bungie. I know this is like your pride and joy, but you just bore me.
Without playing Destiny 2 and only playing Destiny 1, I can tell you they do not deserve a place on 12 on this list.
No.
Let alone on this list.
But there are so many better games in the past decade that deserve this spot more than Destiny 2.
Borderlands 3 deserves this spot more than that does.
Yeah.
And I don't really hear many people talking about Borderlands 3 anymore. It's like that sort of was forgotten as soon as it's come out. You know, it's not made an impact.
People haven't spoken about Borderlands 3 because it went out on Epic when it came out.
Yeah.
If Borderlands 3 came out on all platforms at the same time, a lot more people would have played it, and they wouldn't have had to wait 6 months for it to come out. I can vouch for this very heavily.
I had no idea there was a Borderlands 3, and the moment you said it came out on Epic, that explained everything.
Yeah.
This is the same.
The Destiny to me is Division 2, or no, the Division in space.
Yes, that's the vibe I got of it.
Yeah.
And the Division, I enjoyed the Division, and it just sort of ended. Like,
do not get me started on the Division.
Yeah. And at that point, as soon as the story's over, I just had no fucking interest in the rest of it. Like,
I cannot remember a single moment of Destiny. It was utterly forgettable. Ubisoft, get your shit together.
With going back to Destiny 1, they made it out that there was this huge world, and you could only go to 3 planets, I think, or 3 or 4 planets, and there was space for more. They showed 2 more planets in the original trailer that they cut, and obviously put that behind a paywall after 2 or 3 DLCs or expansions or new games or whatever you want to call it, and there was no end. Like, it wasn't even a cliffhanger. It just ended. The original game just ended, and there was nothing. It was the most anticlimactic ending to a game I've ever played. Probably because
moving on to number 11. And moving on to number 11 after that anticlimactic ending. Titanfall 2, yes, this is definitely one of the best first-person shooters that has come out this decade.
I've still yet to play the story. I've only played the multiplayer when there was a beta. I didn't actually enjoy the multiplayer that much. I loved the first one. I absolutely adored the first Titanfall, but there was just something about the second one that just felt different and not quite right to me. But I've heard incredibly good things about the single player. I've watched the full single player campaign because I heard really good things, just didn't have the money for it. And yeah, it's a fucking solid campaign. It's got some decent little twists and gameplay features and things that I really wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be quite tacked on, but
for a 3-year-old multiplayer game that is running on Origin, it still has a really good following, and the servers are still really good. It is. I know some people that still play it regularly to this day, and just the mech gameplay, the pilot gameplay, just for multiplayer is great. But the single player is just everything that I wanted from the first games. As like why did we not have why did they just bring out a multiplayer like mech game? Or why do they not like tie this into a story? It'd be so easy if someone like Activision, like COD, was to pick this up. It'd be brilliant. But then obviously COD brought out Advanced Warfare, which is an absolute pile of dog shit, and we won't talk about it. But Titanfall 2 and like was it Respawn? I think.
Yeah,
Respawn. They fucking out of this world. Like Titanfall 2. It's not in my top 5, but it's up there. It's top 10 at least.
So I didn't even know it came out. Like I obviously now, after Apex, I heard of Titanfall 2. I didn't even hear of it.
Yeah, it didn't really have a particularly well publicized launch, in all honesty, which really did set it back. Like the first one was honestly fucking amazing. Like the way the multiplayer campaign thing worked as well got a lot of flack, but I actually really liked that system where like you essentially played a single player campaign, but it was through multiplayer matches.
Yeah,
and it was fucking unique, and it worked really well. Like, you know, you got sort of both sides of the story. Like you did have to play it a couple of times to like as a campaign thing to actually get both sides of the story, sort of thing.
Yeah, and understand the difference between like the three factions and stuff like that.
But it was really interesting.
Titanfall 2 when they actually put that story like into perspective for like it made number 1 feel like more of a complete game, and obviously when they brought out 2 and they brought out the multiplayer for that, it also just made that a lot better. And then the way they've sort of jumped on the bandwagon of Battle Royale, and they brought out Apex, and Apex is using the same gunplay and the same sort of style of the more boots on the ground sort of running and gunning rather than like wall climbing and
mechs,
jetpacks and mechs and stuff like that. But it is the same sort of gunplay, which was really, really satisfying in Titanfall 2. Anyone got anything else to say about Titanfall 2, or move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Yep, so the next is number 10, which is Dishonored 2. Came out in 2016. I have not played Dishonored. I have not played Dishonored 2. But
nor have I.
Assassin-y stealth-based game, I assume, quite like Thief.
Yeah, it's got a kind of it's a cross between BioShock and Thief, I find, in the sort of vibe to it. And
the multiple
I've played Dishonored 1.
Yeah. Like, you can obviously play it as just, I want to murder everybody, or you can still, like, take people alive. Well, it's not even take them alive. It's, like, bounties or anything. It's like, there's alternative ways to get rid of them. Like, bribes and things like that you can do. Like, oh, I found out about this from talking to this NPC over here about some dirty bullshit you've pulled. Like, let's, fuck off and let's never speak of this again, sort of thing.
Isn't there an achievement to not kill anyone?
Yep.
Or not kill any of the main NPCs? No, sorry, the other way around. Not kill.
Well, it affects the ending. Like, the first one, like, the good ending was if you didn't kill anybody, I think. Like, because again, like, with the first one, like, it affected, like, the state of the city and things. If you killed anybody, not just the, like, targets, but random enemies. Although I remember trying to do the first one as like a pacifist playthrough where I only knocked enemies out and stuff. And I punched one guard in the back of the head and he crumbled, fell down some stairs and broke his neck and was immediately eaten by rats. And I was just like, oh, shit. Oh, that's going to bite me in the ass. Oh, karma, no.
One thing I did like is, like when I had said there's sort of a BioShock feel to it, it's that supernatural ability side of things. Like, the whole thing of being able to possess rats and fish and stuff like that is endlessly entertaining and allows you some, like, really unique ways to take people down.
Would you say it is worthy of position 10?
It's fun, and the gameplay with Dishonored fundamentally is very decent gameplay, and it's an interesting storyline, but it's not one of those games that I would keep going back to.
No, it's very much a case of, play it once, and that's pretty much you done, really. Yeah.
I
mean, you could do like a lethal playthrough, non-lethal playthrough sort of thing. But other than that, not really much.
Yeah, that's you forcing yourself to, like, you're making your own fun out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, from what we've seen on this one, 2016 was quite a good year for games.
Yeah, true.
We've had quite a few 2016 games come up. Anyway, we're into the top 10 now, and at number 9 in 2010, nearly a full decade ago, Red Dead Redemption at number 9. How are we feeling?
I fucking love that. Again, going off Brendan's earlier point with GTA 5, Rockstar do just fucking nail their single-player campaigns. Like,
yes,
that game hooked me from the get-go, and I absolutely loved it. Like, for the time, that world was incredibly fucking detailed and just beautiful, and it just immersed you in a way that I hadn't actually felt for quite a while. And, Red Dead 2's only improved on that. So,
there's a lot to be said for being able to just drag a person behind your horse and
yeah.
Or tie somebody to the train tracks and wait.
I know this will not be taken well by two of you and will be agreed on by one of you, but until Red Dead came out, I had never really sort of had a grasp with the cowboy thing. I'd never really enjoyed cowboy games or the whole style. Gun? Nope, I never played Gun. I never played Call of Juarez or whatever that one is. That game that came out, which is like a Call of Duty cowboy game. No, never really had any of that. And then Red Dead Redemption came out, and I played Red Dead when Red Dead Undead, the zombie bit came out. I played the zombie one, and I loved it so much that I went back and I did the whole campaign for Red Dead, and yeah.
Oh, the soundtrack and everything for that game, though.
Oh, God, yes. It's something like they repeat this, and I'm sure we will be discussing Red Dead 2 shortly, if this is like any other top 50 list. But, like, the moments that this is something Rockstar does well, they did it in GTA 5 as well, where Michael gets drugged by his son, spoiler alert, and he has a trip where he is falling through the sky while on acid or something like
GTA?
that. Yeah, and
that was so fun.
They play that sort of like soft synth pop music in the background whilst he reflects on all his family problems and his inner demons. And like, that's that quirky GTA version of it. Red Dead Redemption had those moments where, John Marston is riding back to finally see his family again after God knows how long they had been apart throughout this storyline, and they just hit you with one of those wee bits. It's no longer just generic Western music. It's a song starts playing and all the other sound drowns out, and it's just something they're very good at hitting you with.
Also, not to mention the fucking ending.
let's leave that one in case someone hasn't played it yet.
Yeah.
We're not discussing. We can't do it.
Yeah, we can't force that on him.
It's been out for like 9 fucking years, lads. That came out when I was
Let him enjoy it. Jesus,
I know, but we're a fucking podcast where we're supposed to talk about shit
today, and I love that.
So I'm the same as Jordy. When I was younger, when Red Dead 1 came out, I really did not like the premise of a Western. I thought it had been done to death,
essentially.
Yeah. Like there were so many films that came out in my youth that were like spaghetti westerns.
Oh yeah, there was a sort of Western revival with like 3:10 to Yuma and all that shit.
I regret not playing Red Dead 1. I really do. I wish I'd told myself just see past the setting and take it for what it is. It's a Rockstar game. You'll fucking love it.
That's it.
Well, I do disagree that it's top 9.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be higher up in that list.
Do you still think it would be...
Not higher up as in between 1 and 9. I mean, it should be lower down in the list as like a higher number.
Yeah, I think with Red Dead 2 coming out, there are certain things where the prequels are fundamentally not going to be as good, so they sort of deserve just be nudged down a wee bit, not in a mean way, make space for other things. You got 2 of them on there, come on.
Do you think that it's still worthy of top 20?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
For the story alone, and that's a recurring point. Rockstar just
do we move on to number
does stories.
Yeah.
I think our comment on Red Dead 2 is definitely going to come back.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
for sure.
I've got a lot to say about Red Dead 2.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's number one for some of us on this list, on this podcast rather.
Could be.
We'll leave that
So
for a surprise.
The whole thing about Brendan saying, "Oh, the prequels are always going to be a little bit lower on the list than the sequels." We got number 8, Fallout 4, which came out in 2015.
So
Controversial.
Fallout 4,
Yeah,
I
that is a
played this
controversial one.
so much. I love Fallout.
Yeah.
I haven't played Vegas, unfortunately.
Oh my
I
god!
loved. I know,
Get it.
but again,
you son of a bitch.
Oh, you're
again,
fucked.
Again, this goes back to I didn't really want to play loads of games that were set in America and heavy
yeah.
America, like Vegas. Vegas is super America, right? So I was just like, fuck that. I just want to just do my own thing and just, I don't know. I went through a phase. Obviously, if I played Vegas now, I don't think I'd enjoy it because I think it's probably dated quite badly. But the writing, from what I've seen, like the storyline, looks incredible. Fallout 4, it was fun. It's entertaining, I would say.
The best gunplay in any fucking
Hands down. Yeah.
in any Fallout title, but the fact
Or
that
in
they
any
made you a
Bethesda
voiced
title, for that
protagonist
matter.
who they had their own sort of idea for what he's going to do, sort of thing, character-wise and everything, really limited the game, I think. Because again, Fallout 4, you had that beauty of being able to be a massive cunt if you wanted to. Straight off the bat.
3, you mean?
Fallout 3, sorry. Yeah, you could go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go blow up Megaton. Just because I want a flat. I'm going to go do that. Whereas Fallout 4, you were pretty much confined, your dickhead options were pretty much confined to just being a bit of a sarcastic bastard to people.
Yeah.
Because
there was no real meaning behind the decisions that you make.
Yeah, they really toned down the role-playing aspect of the RPG.
Yeah. Which if I'm playing an RPG, I want to play it so that I can fully immerse myself. If I want to be a cunt, I want to be a cunt. If I want to be Mr. Do-goody,
Mr. Goody-goody,
I'll do that.
You can do a goody-goody playthrough, you can do an asshole playthrough.
But Rob, you and I play quite a few RPGs, and you always play as lawful good. Yeah. And I'm usually chaotic neutral.
A bit more of an asshole, yeah.
A bit more of an asshole. I will still have my times where I want to be good, but
and I will have my times where I want to fuck somebody over.
Yeah,
that's it's how we get into our roles. We're you see an opportunity that works for our character, no matter how shady, that works for our character, so we're going to do it.
Exactly. And although Fallout 4 looked amazing, I liked the addition of the base building, and my favorite part that Bethesda added in was actually the scrap collection, because I'm a hoarder, and in Skyrim, I would hoard absolutely everything. You got fucking linen? Got it.
Cheese wheels,
just going around stealing everything he sees.
Yeah, literally.
Teaspoons.
I would pick up fucking everything, and I would literally go to a cave, pick up everything, go back to my place, put it away or sell it.
Indescribable.
And keep going backwards and forwards. It wasn't fun, but I just did it.
You might have a problem.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying this at all, but I need to. It's a compulsion.
Let's put a pin in that one. What?
Guys, I'm gonna throw myself under a giant bus right now.
It's gonna be a fetish thing.
And whoa, no, not at all, Brendan. I'm gonna throw myself under the bus and say I've never ever played a Fallout game before.
Ooh,
oh my god, that's
very interesting. You're in a better position than
we actually had rather
Gary.
measured responses to that. Actually, we were like, oh, that's unique, as opposed to you. What?
You have the opportunity to play Fallout New Vegas first before you play Fallout 4. Gary is at a detriment here because he will be used to Fallout 4's great sort of gunplay and the way it feels and looks, and then he will go into Fallout New Vegas and just go, oh, this is very brown.
I believe I tried to play Fallout 3 once, about maybe 2 years ago, and my computer physically can't play it because it's not old enough.
Yeah, that's been a problem with Bethesda games on the whole for a very long time,
Yes.
really. What's that? Your computer can handle over 60 frames a second? Right, the physics engine is broken. Skyrim,
Yeah,
I
so
remember when I bought my 144
the
Hz monitor. Started that game. Opening sequence. Finally, you're awake. And then my the horse rounds the corner. Like, the cart flips upside down. The horse dies. And I'm stuck there, and nobody's saying anything. It's all very awkward, and I don't even
Thank
get
you,
to
Todd
make
Howard.
my character. Yeah, it just works. And then Fallout 4 comes around, and every time I entered the terminal, I got stuck because, wow, it's over 60 frames per second. So for some reason, that's how this works now.
I've seen videos comparing Fallout 4 and New Vegas, and apparently New Vegas is it's like D&D in comparison to like a cartoon.
Yeah, much deeper role playing.
Exactly, which puts people off, and I can see why Fallout 4 has dumbed itself down significantly.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a little bit more
RP back into the RPG.
yeah, exactly. Not just simulation. Yeah. But that only works in single player.
I mean, to make a little point, bringing up another brilliant Rockstar game, Max Payne 3 Online managed to actually make bullet time work in multiplayer. It was
Locally,
localized.
right?
Yeah, if you activated bullet time and you saw somebody or they saw you, time slowed down for you. Like, if you were on the opposite side of the match and didn't see any of that going on, you were still playing around normally. Like, it just worked, and it handled really well. So fair play to them. So I don't see why they couldn't activate something like that in that if they made co-op Fallout 5. Where, say you're off around the corner, the enemies that I'm facing are slow motion, the enemies you're facing are still handling at normal time, and you don't even know I'm in that.
Their engine probably can't handle it.
Probably
it's
not.
Stuck together with fucking crazy glue.
Jesus Christ, Fallout 76.
That.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like anything where you're trying to, fundamentally you're trying to be creative, and that start of any sort of podcast or recording is the exact same as looking at a blank piece of paper and trying to write a first line.
Exactly, yeah. Once you've got the actual topic, you can talk for fucking hours, which we are doing.
Yeah, and I'm really happy we are.
Think again. I actually had a thought in the middle of all of that where as we were doing it, it was just my brain was just going I fucking love video games, and if we weren't doing a podcast, I'd still be up for just sitting here going through a top 50.
Well, the thing is, we kind of just do this, and we have been doing this over Red Dead.
We're normally just strangling someone while we're doing it.
Yeah.
So, number 7, we've got... And then number 7, we've got The Last of Us, which came out in 2013.
Oh.
Now, I think... that sounds like a bad noise there, Rob.
No, just one of those ones that I've not got to play because, again, I've been a filthy PC nerd for so long. But it's one of those ones that I've always really fucking wanted to play.
I rebought a PlayStation 4 in... Hold on, when did I start working with my company? In 2017. And in 2017, they brought out The Last of Us Remastered.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking again.
And I played through the remastered version of The Last of Us. It's such a beautiful game. It is so well... The storyline is fantastic. The different, types of zombies there are terrifying and, brilliantly, made, and they look garish, and the whole landscape of it being sort of overrun, the ivy up the walls, and it's everything I want in a zombie survival game, but it's more of a story-based game rather than a PvP survival game.
Cool.
I think it was I remember playing it in the PlayStation 3, and one of the things that stood out to me was the sort of Naughty Dog style covering system and third-person shooting experience. There's just something very specific about that game and how it felt for combat, for stealth, for everything else, that it did so right. It just felt great to play that game.
Yeah. I completely forgot it was a Naughty Dog game.
Well, that's it. it sort of comes from the same heritage as the Uncharted games. Like, they established a very good system of, like, for that generation of gaming, actually, that console generation, that's where I'd associate that covering system with, that sort of third-person movement. It's sort
like
of from Naughty Dog. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, moving on from number 7, we have number 6, another game that I have exclusively, like, sort of bought my PlayStation 4 for. God of War came out in 2018, last year.
Never
played it.
Me neither.
It's on console, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so good. Who don't have a PlayStation 4,
It
Brendan?
was a PS4
Console
exclusive,
in
no?
this economy?
I thought you had a PlayStation 4. Oh,
I got a PlayStation 4.
mate.
Sure, I waited the year for Red Dead 2 to come out because I didn't want to spend all that money on a console for one.
See, I bought a PlayStation 4 for Red Dead to play the story.
I should be fair here. I was also tempted to get a PlayStation 4 for Little Big Planet 3
Yeah.
of Little Big Planet, but I didn't.
Oh, no.
I resisted.
God of War, fantastic game.
I have a PlayStation, and I don't know, I just never saw the appeal to God of War. I know people have said it's one of the most amazing games ever, but for me personally, I didn't see the appeal. I don't know why.
I played the older ones, like God of War 2 and so on and so forth, with the earlier versions of the franchise. And I remember them being incredible games, like the scale of the bosses and everything else. The whole idea of fighting mythological monsters was done so well. The combat had a great sort of, I don't know, like chain combo attacks and stuff like that, which made you feel really powerful. Like you felt like a looks into camera God of War. And
He did it. He said the title.
Jordan can feed back into this. I assume if you've played the previous ones, does this new one just sort of bring that to this generation?
I think the first ever God of War I played was the only other God of War I played, which was the original God of War.
Yeah.
And just, the way the game looks now in comparison to the original, like, it blows your mind that they've done that. And just, the way that the characters, like, actions and attacks and, so satisfying to just take out waves and waves of skeletons with your axe by throwing it across the room and then getting it to come straight back into your hand and then throwing it across the room again and then straight just endless hours of fun. So that was our top 20 to 6 on the VG247.com ranked list for this decade. Tune in to our next podcast where we'll be going through the top 5 in that list and our own personal top 5s and a few more extra little bits of discussion.
Hot takes.
On what we decide for our own, or maybe some of our not so favourite games of the decade as well. So please do follow us at the VGC or at VGC_podcast. If you do have any questions for us for any further episodes.
Where can you find us, Jordy?
Thanks, guys, and we'll see you in the you can find us on Facebook at VGC_podcast. And you can also find us on the YouTube at VGC podcast.
And what about your personal stuff, Jordy? If anybody wants to watch you on Twitch.
If anyone wants to follow me on Twitch, I am Jordy Wiz on twitch.tv. What about you guys?
I am Rob Coxey on YouTube, ROBCOXXY. Gary?
Not ROBCOCKSY.
No, Gary, definitely not that. As you goddamn son of a bitch.
I kill you.
As I am not a highly successful YouTuber, you'll have to type my name in. I'm Endash. I've got a big red N for my picture. It is not the SpongeBob one. Do not follow that one, please. I want more subs. Please.
We'll get you one day, SpongeBob and Dash.
I think he's...
And Brendan, where will people find you, Brendan?
You can't. I will find you.
And I will kill you.
Right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and please watch the next episode where we will explain our top 5 of our own games that we like of this decade.
Before we all forget, don't forget to, if you're listening to this on iTunes or whatever, if we're on iTunes, I don't know, Jordy, you're going to have to get on that. Leave us a rating. Yeah, will help us out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
Obviously a good one. Like,
Yeah, not a shit one. If you're going to leave us like a 1 star, you can just fuck off.
Right, okay, we'll fade it off from there.
yeah.